I duck.
All right, fellas.
Oh, that is sweet. An example there of the confidence that man has. It's time for some hoops at the home of the New York Knicks. We're bringing it to you live on 2K Sports. The starting fives for our game. Here are tonight's starting lineups. And guys, taking a look at Mr. Clutch. What will we see from him?
Some of the quickest hands in the league on him, guys. And we see it in how often he's able to poke a ball loose, just as his man is going up to the shot.
And he's really one of the most heads-up defenders you'll see, too. I mean, you've got to take care of the ball when you're around him.
Looking at the last game for the New York Knicks, it was a win against the Cavaliers in Cleveland. It was just a textbook performance. That game was all theirs. Once they got it going, it was full speed ahead.
And a lot of their scoring in that win came from unexpected places, from guys who don't typically get a lot of minutes.
And you know what? Those guys on the bench, they practice every day, too, even if they don't play every night. And that night, they were ready. Well, you know, Carlos Boozer wasn't as efficient last season as we've seen in the past, and I think in large part it was due to the extended absence of Derrick Rose. He was the bailout option for the team on many occasions.
Now here's Rose, averaging 28 points a game. Back to Noah. And there's the whistle, fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. It's on Tyson Chandler. And Clark, for Boozer, you talked about his offensive efficiency. Strong, physical player, but he only averaged about, Steve, I think like 3 free throws a game last season.
Well, he's a fadeaway jump shooter. He's an excellent offensive player, pretty efficient in his scoring. But most of his post-ups end up in fadeaway jump shots, and that's why he doesn't get to the line very often.
Now here's Smith, averaging 9 points per contest. Mr. Clutch, the pass to Stoudemire. 6 to shoot. And the foul on Derrick Rose. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Yeah, he had not established position.
You know, I prefer the refs to whistle at a block when in doubt. I thought that was a good call there.
DJ Augustine's checked in for the Bulls. Count the bucket.
You know, it looks like despite the injury he's got, he's still able to deliver, and that's what he's showing us right now. Well, I tell you what, you consider all the injuries the Bulls had last year, and you look at the 34-18 mark against the Eastern Conference, and it's absolutely remarkable considering what they had to go through personnel-wise.
Here's Mr. Clutch after the made shot from Augustine. Ball's knocked loose. Here's Mr. Clutch. Cannot hit. Great defense that time from Noah. Out of bounds, New York takes possession. Doris Burke had a chance to catch up with head coach Tom Thibodeau.
He said that they will be focusing a lot of their defensive effort into slowing down Carmelo Anthony. I asked him for specifics, and he said, Melo is such a dynamic player, there really isn't any single thing we'll do that will be the answer. Instead, we're just going to throw everything we have at him and see how he handles it. Guys?
All right, Doris, thanks. That shot wide open. And back to the Bulls in the East. It wasn't just one guy who stepped in the shoes of Rose or the departed Ashik. It was a group effort.
You know, you looked at the roster last year, you kind of scratch your head. You go, how is this team going to get to the second round without Derrick Rose? But they did it with a group of role players, with a front line that was tough and nasty and rebounded well, and with great coaching, too.
It's really hard to find fault with anything he's doing this quarter, at least at the offensive end.
Augustine with it, now guarded by Mr. Clutch. Boozer dishes to Augustine. And a fast break now for New York. The rim rattler.
Just a remarkable jam. These fans' jaws are on the ground right now.
Yeah, that is Showtime stuff right there. Major highlight reel material.
Bulls trail by 3. Butler kicks to Augustine. The pass to Boozer. He's against Stoudemire. Fires it up. The shot, no good. And New York will come the other way. Victory eluded them last time in Chicago when they faced the Bulls.
Yeah, they didn't play well that night. They weren't very aggressive. They shot the ball too often from the perimeter, never got it inside, and they were also very shaky from the foul line.
Now here is Augustine. After the miss from Mr. Clutch. Well, they're passing to Augustine. From outside, off the mark. The Knicks leading by 3. Pass to Mr. Clutch. Shoots. Rebound by Carlos Boozer. There's really no excuse. I don't know how many times we've seen it, especially when, Clark, it's time for the playoffs. The winners usually make their free throws.
It's elementary, Watson. Make your free throws when you get them. Everyone needs to take their time getting to
Incredible.
And taking a quick look here at the hustle stats for New York.
They've come out in attack mode defensively, applying pressure and stealing the ball repeatedly.
Something else they've done right so far from the get-go tonight is run. I mean, so much of their offense has come off the fast break.
Shots good for Mr. Clutch. Mr. Clutch has got 13. Back to Brown. Passes to Mr. Clutch. Brown outside. Kicks to Smith. Three-pointer. Rebound by the Bulls. They put up a nice win against the Bucks the last time out.
You know, so often in the NBA we talk about how you have to earn your points the hard way, but it didn't seem like that was the case. Everything came pretty easily.
Too many of their points came the easy way, Steve. You're right. On dunks and layups against the defense, they didn't really put up much resistance.
So for Chicago right now, D. Rose and Jimmy Butler, the backcourt. Up front, Boozer and Noah. And it's Dunleavy in at the small forward.
And guys, they continue to put a lot of pressure on the interior defenders with the way they work down low.
Well, it's become one of the stories of the first half, about just piling up points in the paint.
Rose goes in. Butler on the way. And out of bounds as the Knicks gain possession. Well, it's been a heck of a recent stretch for these guys. The centers and power forwards averaging the most points in their position in the last 10 games. Fourth, Carlos Boozer.
You know, that's as scary a collection of big men as you'd want to see. Game planning for any of them is a challenge because you know how much defensive attention you're going to have to devote to them.
Yeah, it's almost like you've got to pick your poison. Either you leave other areas of the floor open and put some extra bodies down low, or you risk one of these guys running wild on you.
DJ Augustine's checked in for Derrick Rose. Dishes it to Carmelo. Shot clock at 6. New York moving it around. From out on the wing, he knocks it down. 15 points for Mr. Clutch. And we're now a little over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter.
Looking now at some numbers for Joakim Noah. This past month or so, he's really given the fans a lot to watch. First in blocks. He was 9th in shooting percentage. And in terms of rebounding, he's in the top 20 in the league. So a guy who can really take care of the boards for you.
And you pointed out that his blocks per game average, Steve, is the highest in the NBA. I mean, he's leading the league in that category. It's there in the low post where he's been most valuable to his team, in my opinion.
He dishes it to Boozer. Anthony on him. Looking to end the drought. And they're going to count the bucket and send him to the line. It could be a three-point play.
Well, I really admire low post scoring. It's kind of a lost art, guys. The footwork, the deception, and he's just got an assortment of moves down there.
Yeah, he's a ballerina in the post, Steve. That's what he is. One of the most fascinating parts of the game for me to watch. A combination of strength, balance, explosion, and touch all rolled into one.
Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Mr. Clutch in their last game against the Cavaliers had a huge game. He ended up with 34 points and did his work from a pair of lines, hitting from both beyond the arc and from the charity stripe. His performance just another outstanding outing that has become more and more common for him.
Great, Doris. Thanks. Any chance we see him top that performance, Clark, here tonight?
I'd say no chance, partner. That's not a knock against him. It's just that he was so good that night. I don't think he can possibly do it 2 games in a row.
He was Kellogghian. Is that a word? We can use that word.
It is now.
Oh, look at Steve. He didn't like that, though. Look at him.
Let's just say he was really good.
And that is good.
That was an outstanding pick that gave him the room to bury the jump shot. Underrated, but not undervalued. He
feeds it to Shumpert. He passes to Mr. Clutch. The dish now to Chandler. Shumpert drops in the tray.
Last season was another great one for Chandler, who just knows how to leave his imprint on the game, fellas. So efficient when on offense and an anchor on the defensive end. Exactly what the team needed from their center.
Augustine dishes to Butler. Got a piece of it. Into Smith. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. And now a 12-point Knicks lead.
It looks like he's finding his touch now because the shots are starting to fall.
Steve, you mentioned the efficiency offensively for Tyson Chandler. 3 straight seasons at around 65% from the field. Now, granted, these aren't long shots, but when he's getting it down low, he is finishing in.
Well,
2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will retain possession. We've got 22 seconds left in the first half. Noah kicks to Fredette. Feeds to Heinrich. And again, no good by Chicago. With 2 seconds left, that's blocked by Heinrich. And so that's the end of the first half. Knicks lead.
Now, presented by Sprint. The NBA season is rolling right along. The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And a sweeping view of Midtown Manhattan as we prepare to return to action. What can you say, Mr. Clutch? An impressive effort here today.
well, I love his tenacity defensively. The way he plays at that end of the floor, it's been a major factor here in this game.
And as the game moves on, I think he should continue to be aggressive defensively to keep ball handlers off balance and uncomfortable.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for the second half of basketball. And New York looking at who they've got. Anthony, Stoudemire, and Chandler, their front line. Mr. Clutch out there with J.R. Smith. And there's the pass to Mr. Clutch. They double him with Boozer. Stoudemire outside. Smith outside. From deep. Count that one. Smith's got 7 points in the game.
You know, last season, guys, the Knicks put up a bushel basket full of threes, and with the shooters they had, you could see why they shot as many threes as they did. They had excellent shooters from behind the arc, and it also served Carmelo Anthony well because it opened the floor for him.
Very clever passing. That was just beautifully done.
New York leading by 9. Chandler with the screen on Rose. Into Smith. An easy layup after coming off the pick. He's got 9.
Well, he's one player who can get hot in a big hurry. It's like he has an on-off switch, and once it gets flipped on, he's tough to stop.
And don't forget now, a walking highlight reel every time he steps on the court. His flair for the dramatic makes him worth the price of admission all by himself.
Well, Clark, as you said about the Knicks last season, the offensive game plan was take some threes, take more threes, and then some more threes after that. Steve, I know you like that. They led the entire league in There's 1:38 left in the third. Pass to Anthony. Here's Mr. Clutch. Releases. Hits the front of the rim and out.
No breathing room at all to take that shot.
And he's going up for the alley-oop. And finished off by Noah.
Really hard to decide, guys, which was better. The pass, the catch, or the slam.
Clark, there's no wrong answer to that one, my friend. Sensational alley-oop all the way around.
And this sort of awesome dunk is one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game right now.
Clark, there is a swagger out here on the court that they possess and are not afraid to show it either.
That's right.
Those are phenomenal dunks to watch. So much fun.
And it's Rose penetrating. It's blocked.
And that'll increase their rebound advantage. they've definitely been winning that battle on the board.
Well, the main thing is they haven't allowed many second chance opportunities. And that is always going to allow you to maintain your lead.
Carlos Boozer's checked in for Chicago. Dunleavy comes in for Kirk Heinrich. And that one's good.
Perfect inbounds pass and an easy 2 points.
Stoudemire with a screen on Rose. Here's Mr. Clutch. He's covered by Rose. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Well, the Bulls battled in last year's postseason. Got a Game 7 win in Brooklyn to sneak out of round 1 in what was one of the more interesting series of the first round, but then fell to the Heat in round 2.
And so he makes both from the line. And for the Bulls, no Rose the whole time. And they had questions constantly being asked if he would return, but the team came together, Steve, and showed the Bulls aren't just a one-man show.
You know, they missed him, though, Kevin, I mean, desperately. I thought they performed admirably, but they really needed him against the Heat. They were able to steal Game 1 in that Eastern Conference semifinal matchup, but without him, the Bulls just didn't have enough firepower to beat Miami.
He drains it as the shot clock ticks down. Rose has got 8 points in the quarter.
He's so reliable. And, you know, his offense seems to be consistently there for this team.
1 second left. What a play. Simply drains it in at the buzzer.
Just when it looked like the third quarter was over, they go and do.
Tune in this Friday.
Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Not exactly a nail-biter here, but you never know. And what do you guys think so far about the offensive approach for the Knicks?
You know, with their fast break operating so efficiently, I mean, you can see why they've gone with it throughout the game.
And the other thing they're doing is they're forcing turnovers and then converting those miscues into points at the other end.
On the court for the Bulls, getting this fourth quarter started. Up front, Boozer and Noah. D. Rose and Jimmy Butler at the back. And it's Dunleavy in at the small forward. No good on that one.
Well, guys, with the Knicks playing a space-the-floor pick-and-roll offensive scheme, I mean, Tyson Chandler is a hand-in-glove fit as the high-flying finisher inside, keeping defenses honest and then cleaning up the mess on the weak side board if shots are missed.
J.R. Smith on the wing.
Hammer time!
Oh, and there's the one-handed jam.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
It feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
Boozer can't get it to go. And Clark, you talked about what Chandler has meant for this Knicks team, both on the court and in the locker room. And you wonder, you know, if Dallas, Steve had it to do over, do you think they would have tried harder to re-sign him?
Well, I understood the plan. Dallas felt like with Dirk Nowitzki getting older, they had to save that cap room for a superstar, maybe Dwight Howard or Chris Paul. But it's always easy in hindsight when those things don't happen to say, hey, what were you doing?
And it's Rose penetrating. Butler kicks to Rose. And there's the feed to Noah. Chandler on him. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Fades and shoots. The Knicks pull it in. Chandler's got 7 rebounds in the game. It's off to Boston for him after this game as they take on the Celtics. That'll be just 1 game played away from home for them.
I think a lot of people will be paying close attention to that Boston game, guys.
Chandler with the screen on Rose. He kicks to Smith. Buries the long-range jumper. Smith's got 5 points now this quarter.
Man, they are spreading the floor and letting it fly, really knocking it down from outside.
And I love that gunslinger's mentality, Steve. Playing to win as opposed to playing to safe. I call it prevent offense when you try to protect the lead. Let it fly, let it fly, let it fly.
Rose, no good. The Knicks leading by 21. Here's Mr. Clutch. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
When you're hot, you're hot. And that's certainly been the case for Mr. Clutch. He has 23 points, and he's pickpocketed the ball 5 times. His success in the assist department is carried over to the free throw line.
Yeah, Clark, he's had a very steady hand from that line, and it's been an impressive all-around night.
We're in the fourth quarter here, just under 2.5 minutes gone. Dunleavy, the pass to Rose. And he uses the glass on the layup. Rose has got 10 points here in the second half.
He wasn't able to get his name in the score sheet in the first half, but he looks like he's starting to find his comfort zone here.
Here's Mr. Clutch.
Tore it down that time.
Wow, we're going to remember that one for a while.
I know I will, Kevin. That was special.
Oh, man, that was a circus dunk.
Butler, back to Rose. Noah with a screen for Rose. And he jams it with authority.
Boy, taking it hard to the rack. Big throwdown.
And give an unofficial assist, Clark, to his teammate for setting the screen that freed him up.
Man, good call, Kevin. That was really the key to the play.
Bulls making a switch here. Boozer's checked in. And it's out of bounds. The Knicks able to retain possession here. A look at the clock. A little under 3.5 minutes gone here in the fourth.
It seems like nothing is falling for him this quarter. He's really out of his rhythm.
Bulls trail by 21. Now Rose. Pass to Dunleavy. Back to Rose. Rose off the pick from Boozer. 6 on the shot clock. Derrick Rose again. Rose has got 14 points now in the second half.
That makes it 10 of their last 12 points coming from inside the painted area.
Yep, that's something that the defense has to put a stop to. Maybe a defensive adjustment is necessary here.
Mr. Clutch. And it's wide right. It's off the rim.
I don't know if it's just me, but he's looked a step slow since the start of the quarter. His shooting has really suffered.
And Butler gets it to go.
Man, a gaping hole in the defense that time, and he didn't waste any time getting through it.
Back to Anthony. Passes it to Mr. Clutch. Outside jumper. He passes it to Mr. Clutch. Battles through traffic and lays it in. Mr. Clutch has got 6 here in this quarter.
And that puts a cherry on top, so to speak, of what's been a phenomenal showing for them.
All over but the whining now, Steve.
Another steal. Rose, look out, man. The rim is shaking.
Boy, their defense making an impact here late, Kevin.
And straight off the steal, Clark, a perfectly run fast break ends in a slam dunk.
That could be a huge 4-point swing in this game.
Butler dishes to Rose. Boozer with the screen for Rose. Butler on the wing. Guarded by Shumpert. Butler kicks to Boozer. Just 5 on the clock. It's stolen by Stoudemire. Dishes it to Shumpert. The pass to Mr. Clutch. Moves back up. Chandler, no good.
He's always going to have a difficult time finishing when the defense is in his face like that.
Outside Rose. Boozer inside. He's against Stoudemire.
That's a huge part of what they want to do defensively. Limit his easy chances inside.
No good. Nice D from Dunleavy.
Well, those chances are almost always 2 points for him. I guess the defense did what it had to do to bother him.
Rose passes to Dunleavy. Back to Rose. Soft touch off the glass. Here's Mr. Clutch. Off the pick. Green for 2 points.
They're going to walk out of here with a win and send this crowd home happy.
A very solid performance in a lot of areas for them.
So no problem for New York as they get the win. Some days, Clark, everything goes